Hey all, this is Dean the Ops Guy. Welcome back to Production Management in Practice. It's basically my college level or university level production management course, but instead of taking you to like a real factory that I'd love to do and show you what's really going on in a real situation, I've decided to do it in Stardew Valley. So Stardew Valley is my factory. You probably have the factory right on your computer, and you can play along at home or try different things. It becomes a great sandbox for what we can do on the production level. So this is episode 9. Let's get into we're hoping to cover today. So the first thing we're going to cover is ABC inventory, and really this notion inventory is expensive. We keep losing it. There's some basically, it's working capital. So the more inventory we have, the more working capital we carry. It also takes up a lot of space. So, the more we have, the farther we have to go for the next bin or the next set of racking, etc. And it also requires its own sort of maintenance. You don't think that inventory is requires maintenance, but if you ever worked in a warehouse, you know that there's typically a lot of counting, a lot of moving and removing and sorting, especially once you start getting full. You'll put stuff in aisles and then have to take it out of the aisles so you can get the stuff from the aisles and then put it back in. It just becomes a game of sliding tiles kind of thing. So in the end, inventory, not only on the production side does it cause problems, but even on the inventory side, on the warehousing side, there's money to it. So we want to do the best we can to manage it, especially since what we find is inventory always expands to fill the space that's available. So if we get into the ABC notion of inventory, we could treat every single item with its own detail as far as where it should be put and how many we should carry and what's the min and what's the max. And then we try to do that. But more importantly, we need sort of this categorical level to say some categories of inventory need to be treated different than other categories of inventory. The first category, the A category, is really the high volume, high frequency stuff that we use typically everywhere and a lot of. And as much as this may be cheap stuff, we may be not spending a lot of it. We are still exposed on the cost side, partly because it's not just the initial cost, it's the inventory, etc. It's the maintenance, etc. But more importantly, because our chances for this to blow up are much higher just because we use so much more of it. If we got a shipment and we lost it in the back and then we got a new shipment, it's just going to escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate. So the first thing is this is the stuff we want to spend the most scrutiny on to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. Basically, have the tightest collar on it to make sure we don't order too much, or if we do get too much, so we can use it in the right way to make it, work out. But as well, it should have the best locations. It should be closest to whatever it needs to do. It should have basically the highest priority for those locations. Essentially, VIP parking is what we're looking at here. The next level is B items, and B items are like A in that they have this high frequency, this high volume, but usually on a seasonal or an occasional basis. So you want it to have some good locations, maybe not the best locations necessarily, but some good locations when it's in season. And then we have to come to terms with it when it's not in season. Do we purge it? Do we store it? Do we wholesale move it off site? Whatever. Because now what used to take up some really good real estate now has to be delegated for other stuff to come in. So that's your B type. And then of course your C type is stuff that falls through the cracks, like anything occasional or sporadic. Sometimes we'll include MRO or the maintenance and repair type inventories in this. You don't have to. You can treat that on its own if you want. But at the end of the day, C is the least important as far as parking spots, but also we can be a little looser on it. Even if something's very, very expensive. I mean, don't neglect stuff that's uber expensive. But at the end of the day, if we have three instead of two of an $800 copper part, then that's not as important as if we have 3,000 versus 2,000 of a part that's only a dollar or $2, 200, much less kind of thing. So C, less scrutiny. Certainly, it fills in the back holes. And we'll use this not to give up the individual, sort of analysis to say this item has to have this type of in and out kind of, let's say high level and low level, or order quantity, that sort of thing. But as well, there's this category that goes over top of all these that just helps us sort out things really quickly. And how does that apply to Stardew Valley? Well, certainly in the situation of commodities, wood is something that we're using all the time. Stone is something that we're using all the time. So those two especially, but then there's a whole sort of gamut. That hardwood is going to start getting in there. Fiber is going to be a bit in there. All those commodity items we want to have in the best locations, like the chest right near the shipping container, and we want to keep track so that, if we don't have enough wood and we know we're going to need wood, how are we going to get it? But also, if we have more than we need wood, start looking at projects. Can we use this to build ahead, because we don't want this wood to go to waste? So anything that is sort of that commodity level, we're going to call it an A item in Stardew, and it's going to be at the best location, typically, depending where it's used, of course, but typically right near the house, right near the shipping container sort of thing, right? The second level, the B stuff, that's more like the spring crops. Well, you say spring crops are really important. They are now. Come summer, they won't be. So we're going to have to come to terms with what happens with those spring tops in the summer. Do we bring the levels down? How do we adjust them? That sort of thing. And what location is best for a situation where they're very important now, but they won't be, let's say, a month from now. So in Stardew, the plan will be to build a chest. We've already told Av that we want a chest that's convenient for those B items. And then the last stuff is like the C items, and here we're talking, well, we pretty much sell every fish that we don't need for a bundle, or we, pretty much sell anything that we don't, minerals or whatever that we don't need for a bundle for the most part, or artifacts. But if we do see something that we want to keep, for example, we know that Willie's going to want a squid at some point. So we're going to keep a squid. We know that Leah likes wine. So we'll maybe keep a wine. Those are all going to be C items, because even if they're a little more expensive, having one or two around is not going to kill us. The biggest thing is that it's there when we need it, but we won't need it necessarily right away at any point. So that A, B, C level of inventory management now becomes important even in Stardew Valley. So the other thing we want to talk about is budgeting, and this is going to talk directly to what we're saying for Av today. We're looking at the plot map from day 8, and from that we can see how many parsnips we're going to need on day 9. Those are the PA1s. So we're going to be able to harvest 35 of those parsnips. On day 10, or PA2s, there's going to be another 14. Also on day 1, we have some WX, or on day 9, we have some WX ones, which are the spring seeds. So a lot of those are going to be available. However, with the spring seeds, we won't know how much value we're going to get out of them ex ante, like before we start. So let's just look at what we're going to know. On day 9, if we harvest 35 parsnips, right, at the very least, we can expect 35 per, or 1225 for the crop, more if they're higher quality. As well, we're going to get some spring seeds. Some of them will match, some of them won't match. So we'll just leave those until they match. But on day 10, we're going to have 14 parsnips as well for 490, plus whatever quality premium we get. Day 11, we're going to get 2 potatoes, so that's another 160. So when we start adding this up, our current cash of 849, plus crops that we're going to get on the 9th today, is going to be 1875 plus some. And then we're going to get another 240 from Clint, because we've finished his quest for copper ores. So as long as we talk to him, that's going to give us thereabouts 3000 G. We're going to spend 2000 G on the watering can, because we know it's going to rain on day 10. So that's going to work out well, from the standpoint that we'll have between 1,000 and 2,000 thereabouts for strawberries for when we get to the egg festival. So we're in fairly good shape just based on this budget that we have here. So what does that tell us? Well, if we get any more money, let's say we get a lot of money from spring seeds, or we get a lot of, we get some money from fishing that we didn't even count in here, we can probably spend that not for the sprint of seeds to get to the egg festival, because we're covered for the egg festival, but starting to look beyond that. So we now know we're in a good position for the Egg Festival. We now are starting to see any money beyond that, we can start investing past that. So for Av, we're going to set up. First thing you're going to do is harvest crops, sell those parsnips, bundle those spring seeds, get what you can out of that. Second thing, we're going to smelt 5 copper. I think we only already have 4 or 5, but you got to make sure you have 5 before you go to Clint's. Water all the plots, and then as well, keep watering, because if we're going to take our copper, our watering can in for copper, we're not going to have it tomorrow, and we're not going to have it essentially this afternoon or this evening. So we want to water ahead so that if we find any carrot seeds, or if we do buy any seeds, having an extra 15 or so plots watered, not a bad idea, because otherwise we'd lose a day of watering and lose a day of when we can get those. So we're going to go to Clint and basically get our reward for 240G. We're going to bring our copper bars and our watering can to get it upgraded, and then comes the decision. If it's lucky, we're going to try and spend time in the mines. If it's not as lucky, then we're looking maybe for doing some more fishing. Um, and if we have free time, well, certainly if we're near the mines and we have free time, we want to fish for carp, bullhead, and largemouth bass, all that show up in bundles. If we're near Cinder Forest, or even downtown for that matter, we're going to fish for sunfish. If it's after 6 p.m., we're even going to fish for bream. Again, those go into bundles. So I am leaving it up to you, Av. I think we are in your capable hands. So best of luck on day 9. Okay, thanks, Dino. This is where we left off, knowing that it's going to rain tomorrow. Just picking up for day 9. Oh, we're getting cookies. Don't eat the cookies, sell them. It's far more efficient to sell them than to eat them. Um, we're going to pick up all the crops that we can. And of course, we have the rice shoots that we planted. So again, we're going to take all these, bundle what we can, get the money out of them. We're going to say hi to Meow. We're going to give Meow some water. Um, so the whole point here is if we get rid of our watering can, we're not going to have it this afternoon. So not only do we want to get everything watered, but we probably want an additional. I think 15 is a good number, especially it's nice to have a contiguous stretch of 15. Um, the one thing I did notice is the scarecrows typically create a bit of a barrier, so we can't see what's behind them. So if we can pick spots that's not behind the scarecrow, that's probably going to be better for us. So we don't have to water the rice because it's close to the water, and it actually makes it go faster instead of the 8 days that you would expect. Rice only takes 6 if it's in an irrigated spot. That where took out that rock is going to be a great spot where we can put a chest that's convenient for the crops. I want 2 rows of stone, so I'm leaving room. The chest isn't in the first it's not just right on the walkway. It's one away, so we can extend that walkway. But it's also in line with the green bean plants, so that it doesn't, it's sort of in line with the water, if you will. So I don't have to worry about it getting into my crops. It's near my crops, but not in. So anything that is grown in spring, I want to move to this chest. And now that I have everything sort of sorted here, I can take a look. Well, it looks like I can get 3 spring seed sets from what I had. So that's a good thing. I can sell those too. And we will make our way. Oh, you know what? Let's water because we don't want to lose. So here's where we want to do. I'm going to do, actually, let's do 15 right to this scarecrow, but not past. And then we'll even do a couple more just in case. And if we're planting cauliflower, I don't know what we're going to plant, but if we're planting cauliflower, it's nice to have 3x3 patterns because there's a possibility they could grow bigger. So we've facilitated that as well. Let's see if there's anything we could, there is. Let's grab it. A little bit of a daffodil to go. We'll bring it back to see, just so that we don't have it in our inventory. when we're carrying around. So the first thing we're going to do is essentially cash out. We do want to check, not that. Sebastian wants a parsnip. Okay, we'll keep it, and we'll actually keep the silver parsnip for him. We're keeping the golds for bundles, but I want to. Let's only sell 7 of those. By keeping higher level stuff for people, it actually helps with the friendship. I don't exactly know the calculation, but and maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's seems to be what's going on. So as long as we if we have some gold or some iridium stuff, even, then we want to save it for when we give it away. Hey, Clint. Yeah, I'm sneaking that I don't have the ores, but you pretend that I do. That's awesome. Thank you. There's a 240. Yeah, and there's, we just didn't trip that earlier. Upgrade the watering can. Yes. This is going to work out very, very well. Before we go too far, let's say hello. We'll head down to the beach, see what we can forage on the beach. Having certainly having the tide pools open is a big advantage at this point. So coral. Oh, we need a conkle for a bundle. That's awesome. But having the corals, they tend to really pay back, and especially see there was one hiding behind that little plume plant there. But yeah, especially the sea urchins, they pay well. I think a base sea urchin is 100, so it's right off the bat, um, pretty good pay. We'll probably oh, see those little rings? Those are excellent for fishing if we can get there. No, we didn't get there. If you get there, you're going to see little plus marks, so it's well worth. See if we can get them from this side. Oh, way too far. Nope, we can't get there. Let's go back. Let's flip around. Anytime that you see those, if you do have any kind of time, it's worth trying to get it because your fishing goes so much faster. See, even then I didn't get it. I didn't have the plus. I thought that seems pretty close, but no, not even worth it now. All right. No, Willie's not even here. How did I miss that? Tuesdays. Apparently, Willie's not there on Tuesdays. I know he's not there on Saturdays, but Tuesdays. And sometimes he's not there for festivals like the fishing derby. On the Sunday of the fishing derby, he's not there. So I should really, teach a business class to the people in Stardew Valley about when to stay open and when not to stay open because they never seem to be open when I want them to be open. But I shouldn't say that. And then hi, Leah, a good neighbor. Head down to see if we get some spring onions. Oh, there are 2 spring onions. There's also a little bit of horseradish and there's a dandelion. Check the corner. Nope. Check the bottom of the stairs. Nope. Grab the dandelion. Check the corner. Nope. Grab the dandelion and then our two spring onions. Now that we have more inventory space, I can't actually see. See, when I opened that up, it said the 2 spring onions. One was gold, so we're getting more food value out of that one as well. But normally when it's on the hot bar, I can tell right away. I should probably set high defensive, but all right. So let's go. We know we got a little bit more money, so let's spend it on some. You know what? Let's not do this. Let's do parsnips instead of cauliflower. Not that it's going to make a big difference leading up to the egg festival, but given, yeah, they were to say hi with Willie. Given that we don't have enough gold parsnips, it's worth doing that until we can secure. We need 5 gold parsnips for the bundle, and then everything tends to work out. Let's do a little bit of sorting here. So the sea urchin. I want to sell the white star or the I don't know iron star. No, we have enough room for another. So at least I know because of that leak that we can make at least another bundle. Even if the leak is gold, we're still better off making that bundle. All right, let's plant these. Happy to have watered these. Even the extra water, I'm not too worried about. Oh, don't sell that. That was a mistake. So we're going to put that in the bundle pretty much right away. We don't need the wood anymore. That one silver parsnip or that one iron parsnip, if you will, is strictly for Sebastian. Hopefully we'll find Sebastian. He's not the easiest guy to find. And most of the part he hangs on in his room, but you can't get in his room unless you're, I don't know, friend 5 or something like that. So let's stop off at the community center. We will drop off the conkle. And even though it's an iron conkle, we're leaving a bit of money on the table. That's not a big deal. As long as we get the bundles done, it's well worth it. Make our way up. Let's see if we can find Sebastian. Get our money there. Oh, Maru. Hi, Maru. Let's go say hi to Maru. And then along the way, we'll take a look. There's Sebastian, but we can't get in. All right. So maybe it's worth, I don't know, starting on the mine. Oh, we'll say hi to Sebastian's dad there, to Demetrius. Check out the corner. Head up to the mine. Oh, wait. Wild horseradish. Wild horseradish. Couldn't drag me away. So there we go. Also had a chance to say hi to Linus. And there's Sebastian. This is awesome. It all worked out. I love it when a plan comes together. Ooh. So now we have, oh, you know what? We can only use a ticket until 10 o'clock because then Lewis closes the door. So we might as well get that. Oh, and we can also say hi to Robin. So all the tickets come out of Lewis's house, his office, if you will, his house. Hey, Clint. And oh, we're getting carrot seeds. This is, oh, we may not have enough room for carrot seeds. For 12 carrot seeds, we may not have enough room, even after watering all those pots. All right, well, we'll do what we can. So the problem here is, I think we got 9 spots left. The problem here is the 9 that we plant will be done in 3 days, and the ones that we don't plant in the watered spot will take 4 days. Not the worst thing in the world. It's just as bad as parsnips, which were our previous. Oh, we have and 2 more. So it's just one that doesn't get a nice spot. Well, it's still worth planting. Don't put it away. There we go. All right. We're all set. We'll get rid of the horseradish. We don't have enough leek for another bundle. We will get the money that Sebastian gave us. That's awesome. And we'll take the back way up. Maybe we'll find something along the back way. Oh, more carrots. Yay. We get 2 more carrots. So we'll finish our mining. No sense in going back now. If we had a watered spot, then maybe I would have gone back. But certainly, if it's not watered, it's still going to take another day either way. Nice that tomorrow's raining, so we don't have to worry about watering then. But we're running out of watering spots for tonight. So, all right, so we're set up. We're mining level 1. That's good. We know to keep track if we need to look at how time returns with money. Our luck is the highest it could be, luck 5. Oh, and there's a ladder right away that we probably should have gone back and gotten that bug. But that's okay. That's some hardwood. Nice, a little bit of cave carrot. So now, if we didn't have this club, if we were using the so we've already gotten the copper, sorry, not the copper, the coal from here. But yeah, if we were trying to do even with these slimes, but with those flying bugs, whatever, with the sword, the rusty sword, this would take forever. So I'm really glad that we got this wood club. We get some quartz out of the deal. Yeah, again, those flying bugs, they would take forever if I did not have. I think it's like 7 or 8 the jabs with the sword. So here it's just 2, and we're done. Especially this late at night, I would be in here forever. But here it looks like, and especially since we're on level 14, we're gonna make the 15th. Yay! So we get the elevator. All right, let's go. Out we go. So it's probably worth leaving the field snack behind, just because it'd be nice if we go to the, if we don't have a lot of food and we go to the mine, there's food at the mine. So um, I know this sort of breaks the A, B, C kind of rule. This is sort of safety stock where, well, it's safety stock where we absolutely need it, but it's probably not the best management of what could be a commodity, those field snacks. So now the question is where we plant them, just arbitrarily. Yep, it's dark, so I probably won't. If I'm doing the plot later on, I'll probably get it wrong. Anytime it's dark, I can't, even if I go back through the video, it's hard to see. So, well, it's nice to get that leak so that we could do another seed set, put everything away, and we are all set. We will see what tomorrow brings. Level 3 farming. Well, we still can't make a bee house because we still need syrup from the tappers, but oak sap or whatever. No, maple sap from the tappers or maple syrup. All right, thanks, Av. Exceptional as always. I'm really surprised at how much we got out of those spring seeds. Now, more because we picked up more forage item and we had an inventory before that. So that's always good when you're trying to matching. That tends to work in your favor. But let's go to what the objectives were. Harvest the crops. We got it. We already had the 5 copper bars, so that wasn't hard. And we went to see Clint, and we gave him, well, we pretended to show him the copper ore so he can give us money for them. But as well, we gave him the 5 copper bars and the 2,000 so that he can upgrade the watering can. That's going to be very, very valuable. Getting your water can early, um, if you can line up getting enough copper, getting enough money, and having a rain day all together, certainly if you can get it before the egg festival, that's golden. And this is sort of the last chance we could get before the egg festival because even one more day and we'd have to lose, not be able to get the can back till after the egg festival because of the holidays, if you will. So other than that, we didn't get a lot of other stuff done. We did 5 floors in the mine, which was nice, and we did some stuff at the ocean. Now we faffed around about trying to get a target. We couldn't get it, but certainly we got some foraging items at the ocean that were pretty valuable. So I'm happy about that. All things went very, very well. Again, thanks to Av. We're going. I do want to sort of focus a bit on information technology before we finish off this. We kind of started with the budget, so I want to extend on that. Um, the plant map is really to help us, show me what's going on tomorrow. That's sort of the intention of the plant map. But for all information technology, including the plant map, it has to be trustworthy and you have to trust it. It has to be trusted. And there's 2 parts of that. One is so that you compare and plan for the future. But the second one is so that if something does go wrong, if something is different, we can figure out why. And this doesn't get recognized as much. So let's go specifically to the plant map. I've made it a little more colorful. I've made give you a little more touchstones. Certainly the in this case the gray bar is where I want the walkway. I only use one. Normally I have 2, like another gray bar above that, but I wanted to show you the halos. The orange square is going to be the chest. In the bottom right, that rich blue is the water. You can see the rice kind of around the water. And then there's 2 X's, each the center of sort of this halo. There's a yellow halo and a blue halo, and then there's sort of the green where they overlap. That tells you what's protected by the scarecrows because those X's are the positions of the scarecrows. And then everything else is square. It represents a plot. And in it, you can have a letter, like 2 letters to represent the item being grown. So CA is cauliflower, CT is carrot, PA is parsnip, GB is green bean, and PO is potato, RI is rice. That covers what we got here. But in each case, we can take that and then we can sort of extend it and increment. So those 2 letters followed by a number, the number represents, if it's a positive number, how counting down how many days before we can harvest it. So when we get down to 0, then we can harvest it. If it's a negative number, that means that there's regrowth. So it never really disappears. It just keeps growing. So for example, GB8 there, GB7, GB8 is green bean. And once it takes 10 days to harvest, so once it gets to GB minus 11, we'll get the first harvest. And then 3 days later, GB minus 14, we'll get the second harvest, etc., etc. So I can use this to plan for tomorrow. So I can see there's day 9, and then next to it, I just do a calculation to decrement the number next to the letters, and that becomes day 10. We can move that into position so that we can see it in the same sort of graphic that we had before. So it gives us some context. But here we can see in the day 10 graph, PA0, everything that's going to be harvested on day 10. There's 14 parsnips, PA. And then there's 0 potatoes, PO, and 0 carrots, CT. Um, on the next day, on day 11, there's going to be 0 parsnips, but there are going to be 2 potatoes and no carrots. And then day 3, you can see we got the 9 carrots that we planted in the water. And 4 days after that, CT3, sorry, 3 days after that, CT3, we have the other 3 carrots that we couldn't find a water plot for, and we've just planted dry. So we can use these in sort of the budget sense or looking forward as we did earlier in this episode. But if we can just use it for that, it's marginally helpful. So if it's correct, that's a good thing. Again, only marginally so. Information can be very valuable if it's wrong, but only if you can trust it. So if you doubt that the IT, what's going on in the IT, and you can't really understand it, it's a bit of a black box, then you're going to make excuses like, well, it's not always perfect, or it's close enough. And then you're not getting your full value from it. You should know and trust your IT well enough that if anything is wrong, then we can work backwards and find out what assumptions we made that are still wrong. Or is this just something sort of a shadow that we're going to have to deal with because no IT system is perfect? But we want to have the trust and the understanding of the information technology and the system itself so that we can figure this out. So how did that work in Stardew Valley? Well, there's 2 situations where it actually worked out really well. On day 3, we lost 2 parsnips. How do we know it's parsnips? Because the map showed us they were parsnips. I mean, you could organize your plants so that maybe you understand that right away, but as the different growing cycles change, they tend to get all muddled up. So here's one way we know on day 3 we lost 2 parsnips. On day 4 we lost a cauliflower, which is more important given that we need it in the bundle. And then on day 8, on day 5 we lost 2 parsnips again. All of this we could keep track of because it didn't do what we thought it would do. It said we should have this many plants and we didn't have that many plants. So clearly there's a disconnect, and we can use the information technology to work backwards to say what was a disconnect. In the first case, it was crows. In the second case, it's just visibility, or I guess a bit of stupidity, whatever. On day 8, we left a full grown parsnip in the field. And it wasn't until after we were done day 8 that I was entering all the data and going through it. And I realized we had an extra PA0 that we didn't harvest. And I looked where it was on the map, and sure enough, it was right behind the scarecrow. So you see that little tuft behind the scarecrow of green? That's the parsnip that's fully grown. So it speaks to using the information technology to figure out, we said we wanted 36, we only got 35. What's going on? But it also speaks to visibility of scarecrows that we now have to probably address better. We will when we come to summer. I usually keep a 2-lane gap for summer. So in general, the greatest use of information technology is not just to tell us what we need to know, but to help us figure out what went wrong when it doesn't. If your IT is a black box in that you don't know what the calculations are, then you're not getting your full value for it. So that's sort of the big information technology takeaway from episode 9. Hopefully, you're getting a lot out of this. I typically when I'm in the classroom, I'm getting feedback all the time. I'm, sort of, even if people aren't volunteering it, I'm sort of poking for it. It's a little harder to do on YouTube because when I poke, there's nobody there. But yeah, if you have comments, suggestions, whatever the case, please put them in the comments so I can make this better for everybody. But again, hoping you're getting a lot out of it. This is Dino the Ops Guy signing off.